Welcome to Hangar 37. My name is John, and tonight we're going to do the assembly of the DURAFLY Tundra from Hobby King. And before I get started, there's a couple things I wanted to point out. It's a real nice carbon fiber, carbon reinforced prop, but I gotta tell you, it was really out of balance. I had to really sand away to get it to balance out, and so make sure you double check that balance on that prop before you go ahead and fire it. Also, this here part of the rudder, you're going to have to trim that out. When that goes in here, it hits. So I trimmed that out to allow the full throw of the elevator. Okay, let's get started. One of the things I did want to point out is I really like these PCB connections. Now what I did is I marked the center, and I marked where they will sit on the ends here, because they will slide from one side to the other, and you may get more support on one wing than the other. So let's just put that in there. Okay. I'm going to reposition the camera, get a better angle on this assembly. I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, I'm back. Well, before I put the wing up on the plane, I'm going to put in the connecting rods in that. And I assume these are all the same. They're all the same length. I put the connecting rods on. Be real careful with them. These aren't real true ball links. They're kind of like all one piece. If you tighten them down all the way, it's really going to bind. You're going to end up burning your servos. You got to back off that screw a little bit so that that ball swivels, and also loosen up the screws a little bit, especially on the flaps. I got them moving now, but when I first put them on, they were so tight that I could hardly move it, and I had to take this all apart. I actually added a little bit of oil on here. It's a really strange setup. I don't prefer this, but we'll see how it holds up. Trying to get them off, you gotta wedge a screwdriver in there and pop them, and I just hope I don't have to take them apart. I'm afraid I'll break the servo arm or the horn. Yeah, I don't like it. Alright, now you got to be really careful putting this in. Got to line up those pins. You got to try to line up those pins and make sure they go in. This one went in pretty good. When I did it the first time, it was really difficult. If you don't already have one, get a strong magnet that you can magnetize your tips, because they do wear out. You get a little lazy. And I just rub them, spin them on there, and they work great. Alright. Be careful not to strip it out. They're kind of tight. I gotta say, this is a really great looking plane, but I think they really chinched out on the hardware for this. And maybe that's why it's under $200. Don't over tighten them. Okay, now I'll try and get that second wing on. And I had my mark here. It did move. Let's hopefully get this one on. Okay, once again, line those pins up. And see, this one doesn't want to line up. This is not good. I hope they connect. Well, I gotta say this, if you've got to take this apart, forget it. Because once it's put together, you're gonna have a hell of a time lining those things up. I literally had to take a screwdriver and compress this clip that's holding the male ends. I hope they're all in there correct. I can't see the back side. Great idea, poor quality. Well, let's get her put together and then we'll see. When it's all done, I'll probably reevaluate. Okay, wings are on. Suppose we'll try and do the tail now. Now you can kind of see how that rudder's off to the angle there. Like I say, I think that's something I can live with, but I want that elevator stabilizer parallel. Okay, now the rudder doesn't look too bad. It is off a few degrees. That's not a problem. I can live with that. But if you look at the tail, the elevator, that thing's off about a ½ inch. I'm going to break away again, work on that, try and get those epoxied in there, and hopefully have it straight. I'll be back to you in just a bit. Okay, got it epoxied in, and the horizontal elevator is pretty straight. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, taking another break, let that dry, and we'll get back to you. Okay, I'm going to put the wing struts on, make sure they're straight. And they're saying to use a 2.3 by 10 on them. And they're marked left and right. I'm assuming it's the pilot's left and right. and there's slots for these struts to go in. This plane stand is pretty nice because I can move it around and get backing behind it. Okay. Alright. Outside of being tight, that went in pretty good. Well, I'm back. There she is. DURAFLY Tundra. I've got the floats on it. Okay, what I'm going to do, just do a quick review. Yeah. Simple as that. I'm going to put these aside. Not a bad setup. I don't know how well it'll hold up on a hard landing or crash, but considering it's kind of like free, can't complain. Normally you got to pay for those. Alright. Okay, landing gear. It'd be kind of interesting to see how this all goes together. Okay, I'm going to take a little break here, go over the manual, and try and get this landing gear in here, which looks kind of interesting. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Got the landing gear on. Went pretty slick. There's 3 pieces, the main strut here, the support strut, and then there's springs under these heat shrinks. Goes into these. These are 2.3 by 10 screws that go on the bracket here, and the screws that hold the back braces on, 2.0 by 8. Make sure it's got the collar on the screw. And I guess they say this is EPP foam. Not bad, better than the EPO foam wheels. Let's see how they hold up. Now, one of the videos says they are not painted, they're black all the way through, which would be help if they start wearing. I always put a little drag on my wheels. There we go. Okay. Dispose of my handy dandy little plane stand. And there you go. Look at that. Can you see that? Yes, you can. I'll tell you what, a lot of bitching and complaining on this one, but looks pretty darn good. Nice looking model. Now I'm going to do one more. I'm going to take these wheels off. I'm going to put my snow skis on. So I'm going to take a little break, pull them out, and get them ready, and I'll be back to you in just a bit. Okay, I'm back. Got the skis on. Is to mark my center of gravity on the bottom side of the top wing, which if it's a top wing, you check your center of gravity on the bottom of the top wing. I use sewing pins. I got an assortment of different colors I showed in another video. You cut these at about 1/4 inch, 6 mil. what I did is I marked 55 mils from the leading edge, and I used a pen just to make an indentation in the foam on both sides. And what I'll do is I'll use super glue and a needle nose pliers, and you put a dab of super glue in the indentation. Just a little bubble of soup. Yeah, let's see if we can get in here a little closer. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a little tricky here. Just hold that in there. And you can see I got about half of it sticking out. I mark all my planes this way, so I'm going to let that dry and I'll be back to you in just a bit. There you go. Three-way combo, skis, wheels, and floats. I'm in Wisconsin. We have snow on the ground. I'll try and get out and do a maiden on it with the skis. Okay, that pretty much wraps it up. There she is. Tundra, DURAFLY. Nice looking plane for $200, well worth the money, but I'll tell you, it was a pain in the butt on some of the things about this plane, mostly the tail. As I explained in the video, I had to epoxy this in. I had cutting, but I did get the elevator straight. I think you can see how nice and straight it is now. So the ball joints, not real ball joints. You got to be careful on that. And on the flaps, they're really stiff. You may want to take a look at that. Be careful not to break your horn on there. I almost did. So I wish they would have just left normal horns on there. And to be honest with you, if this was freewheeling, if it was free to go up and down, I'd say it's a good deal. But it was so stiff, and I still didn't get, one's real loose or free, the other one is still binding. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So that's pretty much it. Tundra by DURAFLY through Hobby King. Nice. Well worth the headaches I ran into. The landing gear went really slick. I like the landing gear. It went without any major hitches. Looks good. I put heat shrinks over the springs. I put heat shrinks over the springs. I don't know if you can see it. I think it looks just a little better than springs hanging there. Okay, so once again, this is John from Hangar 37 signing off. I want to thank you all for watching, and I wish all you pilots out there blue skies and calm winds.